My thoughts on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, this is going to be an off the dome video. Wow. It's a terrible event. Now, many people have asked me, how I felt about it, in particular in my live streams. We did a live stream yesterday on this, and people asked me how I feel about it, what's my opinion on it. And as always, anytime a few people ask me that, I make a video, which is what I'm doing here. Just straight off, the man had a wife and a 1 and a 3-year-old child. So, two kids have lost a father. They'll grow up having a father they've never really even remembered. I mean, being 1 and 3, I don't remember anything that happened from my time as a 3-year-old. You're definitely not going to remember anything from being 1. So they'll never know who their dad was other than what they read about. So it's a terrible story all the way around. I don't take any pleasure in hearing anyone being violently assassinated, and neither should you. Let's get that clear. Many folks are on the right are very angry because there are folks on the left that are gleefully taking pleasure in this. Now, I'm 100% against doing that. A man lost his life for what amounts to nothing more than free speech. So I'm not a fan of him losing his life whatsoever. I think it's horrible, and hopefully the killer is brought to justice. However, I do want to point out that while many on the right are angry with the left's behavior in regards to this killing, I don't think they make good complainants, because there's been a whole lot of killings that they've kind of taken pleasure of themselves. So I don't think anyone should take pleasure in the violent loss of life of another human being. And you can't have the stance of, it's only wrong when you do it to somebody I care about. But when you do it to somebody we don't care about, it's okay to do that. Now, as you might be aware, Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, her husband, there was an assassination attempt on his life a few years ago. And the right made fun of that. They brought up, they claimed he was gay and all kinds of other stuff, and just really made a whole bunch of jokes about it. You shouldn't make any kind of humor about somebody, losing their life or having somebody try to kill him. And then, of course, all of the controversial police killings, from Breonna Taylor to George Floyd, even Trayvon Martin being killed by George Zimmerman. They made fun of all of that stuff too. So I agree with folks on the right saying that you should not take pleasure in the death of Charlie Kirk or make fun of it. But as I stated, the right does not make a good complainant on this, because they do it also. Now, in addition to that, I want to point out something that also is, controversial, whatever the case may be. Now, President Trump has lowered the flags to have staff for Charlie Kirk. I don't see any problem with that. He's talking about also giving Charlie Kirk the Medal of Freedom, the highest medal you can give to an American citizen. Listen, he's going to defend his side. I mean, that would be like Joe Biden giving the Medal of Freedom to somebody like Stacey Abrams or something like that. Because she did a lot of the same stuff as Charlie Kirk. She helped organize a lot of folks on the left to vote. She stated things that the right would consider controversial, whether it is calling President Trump a fascist or being in favor of LGBTQ and trans rights. The right would consider all of that stuff controversial. So Stacey Abrams getting the Medal of Freedom would probably be very upsetting to folks on the right. And I'm assuming that Charlie Kirk receiving it is going to be upsetting to people on the left. But fact is, folks, as divisive as we are right now, let's be clear. This is what we voted for. Regardless if you feel that George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, regardless if you feel that those folks were divisive or how you feel about any of those presidents, is there anyone that believes that when Trump came along, his goal was to unite us? Is there anyone that believes that? Because if you start mentioning Trump as a divisive leader, the first thing folks do is revert back to Obama or Biden. So I don't think there's anyone that believes that as President Trump took the Oval Office for a second time, his goal was to unify America. So we are indeed a divided country. And it would not surprise me, probably you or anyone else, if Charlie Kirk was not the last person to lose his life in the manner that he lost his life. Now, comments on social media from the right who are understandably upset about the death of Charlie Kirk have been coming in. Elon Musk took to social media and posted, "The left is the party of murder." Wow. Now keep in mind, folks, they haven't caught the killer. They have not caught the killer yet. So while the assumption is that anybody who have taken out Charlie Kirk has to be a Democrat or a radical left-leaning person, there's no way to know that yet. So to suggest that the left is the party of murder, as if there has never been a right-wing political activist that has taken somebody's life, is insane. But that is what Elon Musk said. The left is the party of murder. Jesse Waters from Fox News stated on their airways, "Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate?" That almost sounds like a damn call to arms. Now, once again, Jesse Waters, just like with Elon Musk, the killer hasn't been caught. So the idea that they're at war with us and how much of this are we going to tolerate, who the hell is he talking about? We don't know what beef the killer had with Charlie Kirk. We're just assuming at this point. And understand before folks get ahead of themselves suggesting that, well, only a person on the left is going to do this type of stuff. There's a lot of folks that actually voted for Trump that are not happy right now. A lot of folks that voted for Trump, whether it is Venezuelan or Cuban descendants of immigrants, they're not happy right now. A hell of a lot of farmers that voted for Trump are not happy with the tariffs. A lot of folks in the tourism business where they make money from small businesses or hotels or anything involving tourism, a lot of them voted for Trump. They're not happy. So the idea that only a left-wing person could have done this is insane. There are people on the right. Take the Muslim community in Michigan, for instance. Remember they were yelling, "Genocide Joe has got to go," because of his poor handling of Israel in regards to the Israeli-Palestinian war. You think they're happy with Trump now? That's who they voted for. They voted for Trump because Biden wasn't handling Netanyahu properly. Do you think they're happy with how Trump is doing it? So the idea that only left-wing people are going to go after somebody like Charlie Kirk or individuals on the right is not true. Trump has done things that has pissed off a lot of people that actually voted for him. So here's the last comment coming from Andrew Tate. You see what's on the screen. You see what's on the screen. So these people are already making assumptions that is coming from the left and promoting violence in response to it. Like I said, folks, we voted for division. Now, this is terrible what happened to Charlie Kirk, and the response to it is equally as terrible because they are, make no mistake about it, calling for violence as well. And unfortunately, President Trump is not speaking from a standpoint of unity. He didn't get on television and say we got to come together. Political violence has no place in America or anything like that. He didn't speak from a term of unity. In fact, some of his actions are just the opposite. How many of you folks remember the assassination of Melissa Hortman and her husband and her dog at her home? Now, that was done by 57-year-old Vance Bolter. He leans right. This is a Trump guy. So the idea that it's only coming from the left is flat out false. And oddly enough, even though Melissa Hortman was an actual state representative in Minnesota and Charlie Kirk was no politician at all, the flags were lowered to half-mast for Charlie Kirk, and Trump essentially ignored what happened to Melissa Hortman. He mentioned it for 2 seconds, did not even call Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, to even give condolences, and stated he wasn't doing it because he found Tim Walz to be incompetent. So as opposed to offering condolences for the loss of a congresswoman in Minnesota that was assassinated, he chose to attack and insult the governor of that state. That's division. That's what I'm talking about. That is division. So for anyone who is pissed off at a liberal, Democrat, or somebody leaning left that is saying awful things about the death of Charlie Kirk, you got stuff like that. You're going to lower the flags to half staff for Charlie Kirk, but we're not going to do it for an actual slain politician. Not to mention John Hoffman and his wife, Also, Minnesota state senators were also dealing with an attempted assassination on the same night. That guy, what is his name? Vance Bolter, 57-year-old guy. He shot 4 people and a dog in attempts to kill them all, successfully taking the lives of 3 of them. So I just want to say I don't favor anyone taking pleasure in political violence, and make no mistake about it, that is exactly what this is. But I'm just going to say it falls into the category of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. The only way this is going to end is for somebody to take the high road and state this is wrong. We need to come together and end this. And as of now, the latest victim is on the right, and the right is absolutely not saying stuff like that. Next, it'll be on the left, and chances are the left won't be doing it either. But right now, it's on the right, and they're not speaking from a standpoint of unity or how we need to come together and end political violence. They're talking about getting revenge. So what I want to ask you folks before we end this video is, do you think that's going to happen? What are the chances that someone will take the life of an innocent individual to avenge the death of Charlie Kirk? Let me know what you think in the comments as always. Wow. Click the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.